As bad as all the other videos have been, this one's going to be even worse. I'm Chris McCord, professor of philosophy at Kirkwood Community College, and this is Introduction to Philosophy, Review for Exam 1, Socrates and Plato. I'll just do this little review with you here now, and let's just take a look-see here. Now, I'm at the review sheet, which you have access to. And so it says, review for exam 1, logic, Socrates, Plato. Okay, the first question, what is philosophy? Be able to give the definition and explain. Well, that's in that opening lecture video. So take a look at that if you want to do that. What is a deductive argument? Know the form of the general deductive arguments we'll be using. And what's the only thing that can be wrong with a general deductive argument? I'll tell you, the only thing that can be wrong with a general deductive argument is that it has a false premise. And to learn more about what those general deductive arguments are, then you just need to go back to that video entitled General Deductive. Okay, let's see. What's an inductive argument? Be able to recognize examples of argument by example and argument by analogy. Okay, that part is definitely in the video. I think it's called Example and Analogy, but it's the second basic reasoning video you have access to. What are the 3 problems inductive arguments can have? Well, that's a little different. I guess I could just say this. An inductive argument, it could have an unacceptable or false premise, but the premises could all be true and still fail to justify the conclusion. They might fail to be relevant to the conclusion, or they might be relevant, but not enough evidence for the conclusion. So they might fail to ground the conclusion. Anyway, you can look back at the video on that. That's not the best question, but be able to identify the following people: Thoreau, Martin Luther King, Kuminadu, and so on. There's a video, that civil disobedience video is the one you want to look at there. What is the argument Crito makes to Socrates in favor of breaking the law? Well, that's in, let's see, there are 2 videos on Socrates. One is called Beverly Hills Sock, and the other one is called Box on Socks. And those 2 videos will have all the answers to this, like Crito's argument, Socrates' objection. It's an argument by analogy. Remember, that's where he compares. He says, well, you admit they're experts about health. Health is like being good or just, so you should admit they're experts about being good or just. Again, just to remind you there, don't worry about the bait, premise, business, that part of it. But anyway, what is the argument of the laws? Really, Socrates' argument to Crito that Socrates should not break the law and flee prison. Well, it's an argument. It is an argument by example. He gives a bunch of reasons. Crito does. Oh, sorry. The argument, what is the argument of the laws? Well, that's the argument that Socrates really is making to Crito, that he should not break the law and flee prison. It's an argument by example because he gives a bunch of reasons that he thinks it would be wrong for him to flee prison. Would Socrates agree or disagree with King regarding civil disobedience? On the face of it, it looks like they disagree, at least on the surface, because Socrates seems to think it's always wrong to break a law. But maybe you would think more deeply about it and come up with a different answer. But I'm not expecting you to. It's just I have seen it argued both ways. But it's fine to argue for the if you get this question anyway. You may not, but you see what I mean. So all right. Explain the distinction King makes in both the video and letter from the Birmingham jail. Well, King makes the distinction between, he says, yeah, you should obey the just laws of a society, but you shouldn't obey unjust laws. And Socrates doesn't make it. It seems like he thinks they're all shrink-wrapped together. Okay, number 10, would you break the law? Well, that's an opinion kind of question. You could give your own argument if you got it. Number 11, know and be able to discuss and write an essay on Benny's fall thought experiment. Well, I tell you what, in a few minutes I'll show you the topic for the essay question, you're going to have a choice, and that's one thing you could pick. We did the Benny's Fall thought experiment online. Remember that crazy thing? Be able to formulate and critically evaluate the general deductive arguments. Just remember, if you see one of those general deductive arguments, you know that the only thing that can be wrong with it is a false premise. So, like in the feedback I was giving you, just try to make the case that it's false, that one of the premises is false. And no stuff about, I don't know what words mean, or its opinion. No, 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 no. You have to prove that it's false. Pretend like you're a lawyer trying to prove that it's false. Or pretend like I say, hey, I'll give you $100 if you can prove this is false. Okay, number 13. Be able to fully explain, recognize the positions of Gorgias, Thrasymachus, and Protagoras. Now that one I'm pretty sure is in Beverly Hills Sock, where I go through and talk about that Gorgias was the one who believed, he thought you could have no knowledge. Thrasymachus made a speech first that justice was better than injustice, and then he flipped it around and argued that injustice is better than justice. And Protagoras is the one, he's the relativist who famously says man is the measure of all things. So, but hopefully that's in the video. I might have to go back and rewatch it. Anyway, okay. No, okay. Fully and clearly explain Plato's theory of the forms. Well, you've got a video on that. Brad Pitt and Mona Lisa. You know, that's the video. What is the name of that video, everybody? The one where I talk about Plato's theory. Beautiful. That's what it is. It's Beautiful is the name of the video. Be able to explain Plato's view of human knowledge. Well, Plato thinks that the people who truly know are the people who have knowledge of the forms, and those who only have opinion but don't truly have knowledge, they're the people who don't know the forms. They think they know, but they don't know. You know what? We hardly talked about, maybe I'll make a video about Plato's allegory of the cave in a few minutes here. But you want to know, well, I'll tell you what, I'll make a video on that, okay? We've read it. Sure. Okay. Be able to explain the example of the Quacky Oodle tribe. Well, that one is in a second relativism video for sure. And remember, the Quacky Oodle, they think, and I'll just give you the short version here. The Quacky Oodle think if someone dies in your tribe, the only way to make up, even if it's by natural causes, the only way to make up for it is by taking the life of someone outside your tribe. Know and be able to discuss the Socrates thought experiment. That's going to be a choice for essay. And the Harvard Guide. Tell you what, let me now tell you what that really means to use this Harvard Guide to write your essay. It's not a big deal. Okay, right now I'm looking at the essay question that you will get on the exam, and that's like in this unit, the review and exam week 4 unit. That's one of the choices. You can look at the essay you'll get on the exam. It says, write an essay that uses the Harvard Guide for writing a philosophy paper on one and only one of the following. Your essay should be well written, well argued, and philosophically interesting. And that means it should have an argument that you made up in it, your nice own original argument in it. Now, really, the Harvard Guide, once you take a look at that, it's going to give you the following structure, and this is built into the question. So it should include, first, a thesis statement. So that just means, you probably know this from other classes, thesis statement will just say, in this paper, the thesis statement's going to say what you're going to do, but you could say, in this paper, I will look at such and such argument. I'm going to look at the case of Benny's Fall. I will argue that it would be wrong to use the insurance card in the case of Benny's Fall. That'd be your thesis statement. So we're not worried about turning it into a full paragraph for purposes of this essay. It's just that should be the first thing you do. Then B, your own argument. So you would say, here is my argument for that, that you, what am I stumbling around so much for? My argument that we shouldn't use the insurance card in the case of Benny's Fall. And then, so I already know the facts of the case. I guess that's okay. I left that out. So your own argument. Then at C, the very best objection someone could make to your argument. So what could someone say? Could they say that you have a false premise? Or maybe that from your evidence isn't strong enough, or it fails to prove what you're trying to prove? Okay. And then last but not least, so spell that out so that anyone reading your paper would say, oh, I see what they think the objection would be. So you say, well, someone could object that, blah, 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 and you explain it. And then finally, at what should be D, your well-reasoned and challenging response to the objection. So I would start that out and say, after you've explained the objection someone could make to your own argument, you say, but this objection doesn't work because... So it's really, in philosophy, it's called the dialectic. It's kind of like what Socrates did when he argued with people. First, you give your own argument. Then you say, but here's a possible objection to that argument. Then you give a response and say, but that objection doesn't work because... And that's where we leave off. So hope that helps. Let's see. And that's our review for Exam 1 in Introduction to Philosophy. Confused? Well, feel free to email me or give me a call or text. My number is 867-530... No, that's not. It's the number is 319-693-6070. Now those numbers are right, but I get mixed up. Maybe a couple of them are out of order, so just try it though. And spoiler alert, you're going to get a lot of phone numbers that have been put in the wrong order when you're in college, or, well, maybe you won't, but I did. But anyway, listen, hopefully that helps. And do, in all seriousness, give me a call. It's 693-6070 if you get stuck or whatever. But, oh, that's weird. Looks like somebody's calling already. Hi, I'm Chris McCord, Professor of Philosophy at Kirkwood Community College. Did you have a question you'd like help with on Exam 1? Great, I'm here to help.